Salam Sejahtera, I am Catherine Ridu, the Undersecretary of Water and Sewerage Services, Ministry of Environment and Water, Malaysia. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak in this water business webinar. Today, I am going to share with you, firstly, an overview of water services industry in Malaysia. Secondly, will be on the water supply related policy in Malaysia, and lastly will be on the water sanitation related policy in Malaysia. The following figures in the slide indicated the current status of our national water supply and sewerage services capability. As a country which is gearing toward developed nation status, we should be proud of our achievement in providing a reasonable quality of water services to our people, including the rural areas. In the Malaysian context, both the federal and the state government plays a prominent role in ensuring water security through the adoption of a holistic approach in managing the water ecosystem, which includes water resources, water supply, as well as sewerage services. The expected outcome from the approach will be in the form of reliability of services, which is 24/7 water supply and safe sewerage services, so as to protect our environment and the people's health. We are indeed blessed with the high rainfall and rich in various water resources that are readily available and could be harnessed at a low cost. Despite this, water resource governance is still challenging due to pollution from the illegal discharge of prohibited effluent into the river, silts from land clearing activities, and discharges from various economic activities. Moreover, the changing climatic patterns causes prolonged hot weather or monsoon flood, which affects the readily available water for treatment in water-stressed states such as Kedah, Pulau Pinang, Melaka, and Johor. It is no longer relevant to manage water resources based on socio-economy and environmental consideration. It is time to view water resources management as the nation's strategic sector. For example, Singapore place water security as its utmost priority to ensure the availability, accessibility, and capability to secure water resources and supply. All development must provide enough water with high quality to meet the demand due to the rising population and economic activities to ensure the nation's state security, sufficiency, and reliance. Thus, the agenda of water security becomes central in the discussion on the topic of sustainability of water services in Malaysia. Water security refers to the availability and accessibility to water resources and its ability to ensure adequate water with good quality for the people as well as the environment. Most countries, especially developed countries, look towards to protect water resources as a critical strategic asset. Thus, the agenda of water security becomes central in discussion on the topic of sustainability of water services in Malaysia. Water security refers to the availability and accessibility to water resources and the ability to ensure adequate water with good quality for the people and the environment. Most countries, especially developed countries, prioritize and protect water resources as a critical strategic asset. The water security issue could be addressed through structural and non-structural approach. Structural approach in this case, such as upgrading and building new treatment plants to increase the amount of reserve margin involved, strategic requirement of investment, and normally consume time to be implemented. Thus, the non-structural approach, such as water demand management approach, could be intensified for the next RMK 12, which is from 2021 to 2025. The WDM consists of 9 strategies. In this case, the first one is reviewing water tariff, which is in the process of implementation to appreciate the value of water and avoid wastage of resources. Secondly, reduction of non-revenue water. CASA is committed to reduce NRW, in this case, rate to 25% by the end of 2030. NRW will enable water operators to secure losses and increase reserve margin, thus enhance water security. Thirdly, mandatory use of water-efficient product. Promote efficient use of water and educate consumer toward valuing water. Fourthly, water-efficient product labeling. Promote efficient use of water and educate consumer toward valuing water. Fifth, intensifying enforcement to combat water theft, which is reduce the physical loss. Sixthly, to promote the use of alternative water source, which in this case will be rainwater harvesting, reclaimed water, and diversifying sources of water supply to reduce dependency of treated water supply, especially for non-domestic purposes. 7. Implementing water audit for big users, promoting value of water as well as promote the efficiency of usage. 8. Intensifying R&D in water supply service sector. In this case, the role of NARIM in Water Innovation Roadmap, welcoming new approach in solving water security issues through R&D and C. And lastly, the 9 is efficient use of water resource in all sectors, which is looking at the water footprint, sustainable farming, agriculture and plantation, and circular economy. NRW in this case can be defined as treated water loss resulting from the difference between the total quality of water produced from the water treatment plant and the total quality of water at the consumer meter reading. The loss of treated water resulted in the cost of producing it, which in turn it is unable to be accommodated through the return of revenue. Meanwhile, the NRW level is also measured to the productivity level of the water distribution system owned by a water operator. Addressing NRW problem will enable operators to improve the quality of services as well as securing 15 to 20% of reserve margin for emergency use. Under the RMK 12, CASA is projected to reduce NRW to 25% by the year 2025. Currently, CASA is implementing 2 strategies to reduce NRW, which is Approach 1 and Approach 2. Approach 1 in this case focuses on the state that recorded an average NRW rate above 40% through grant-based allocation. The state involved in this approach are Perlis, Pahang, Kelantan, Sabah, Sarawak, Kedah, and the Federal Territory of Labuan. Approach 2, on the other hand, is an incentive to the NRW reduction program provided through the matching grant concept involving states that recorded an average NRW rate of less than 40%, namely Perak, Penang, Selangor, Terengganu, Melaka, Negeri Sembilan, and Johor. Through this approach, the federal government provides incentive in the form of reimbursement of 50% to 75% on NRW investment made by water companies upon achieving targets. To ensure accessibility of safe water supply for rural area, we have the Wakaf A initiative, which was launched on the 17th of December 2020 by CASA in collaboration with Yayasan Wakaf Malaysia, or YWM. Its main objective in this case is to provide an easy, fast and sustainable source of funding apart from the current government grants and loan for small-scale water services projects. How does Wakaf IA work? Wakaf is an Islamic approach, in this case of crowdfunding, where the endowment of money or property whose return or yield is typically dedicated toward a certain end. In the case of Wakaf IA, money raised will be used to fund project worth up to the maximum to Rm 50,000, such as for the development of water pipes, tube wells, and water tanks. What are the recent development on Wakaf IA? As of September 2021, a total amount of Rm 3.2 million have been collected and Rm 266,486 have been distributed to projects from 7 locations so far due to COVID-19 pandemic, which benefited nearly 3,000 people. 5 more projects is expected to be completed before December 2021. As of March 2021, in the case of sanitation, IWK operates and maintains a total of 7,080 public sewerage treatment plant, or STPs, 1,293 network pump station, and 20,623 km of sewer lines, making it one of the largest sewerage service operator in the region. Currently, IWK's facilities produce treated effluent that complies with Standard A or B for effluent discharge. Standard A compliance is for the STPs located within water catchment areas, while Standard B is applied to plant located outside of the water catchment area. With the estimated amount of 5,679 million litre per day or MLD of treated effluent released from STPs around Malaysia, there is a potential for IWK to reclaim the treated effluent for non-potable usage. Non-potable, that means it's not for drinking purposes, non-consumable. IWK role in this case has expanded and evolved to extend beyond serving Malaysian as a utility provider on sewerage services. The technological advancement and innovation of sewage treatment systems have resulted in the production of byproducts from STPs known as treated effluent, biosolids and biogas as resource recovery products, which could in turn generate a new business stream. IWK is progressing from just being a sewerage services provider into a holistic wastewater management and resource recovery company. As climate change continues to be a concern, the sustainability of the country's water resources could be at risk. Through the new approach, IWK could emerge as a key player in meeting the nation's growing needs with a clean and sustainable water supply. By adopting this resource recovery approach, IWK will be moving toward achieving the goal of a closed water loop in line with the circular economy concept, as well as the integrated urban water cycle, which have the best practices for efficient and environmental friendly water resource management. As part of the efforts toward creating a closed water loop and the circular economy, IWK has embarked into water reclamation initiative through the implementation of the Water Reclamation Plant or WRP that produces reclaimed water from treated effluent. The reclaimed water in this case will serve as the secondary source of non-potable water to the industries, or what we call the second tap. Demand for water supply for the industries increases year by year along with the rapid growth of economy in the country. Besides, the trend has also shown high dependency of industries toward potable water supply from the state water operators. Hence, the availability of reclaimed water will help the industries to reduce dependency on clean water resources that can be used for domestic and potable purposes. In this case, potable purposes which is consumable to the consumer, which eventually will help the country to reduce water scarcity. Water Reclamation Initiative is in line with the policies under CASA Sustainable Journey 2030, which targets to reclaim 1,500 MLD water by 2030, and the Green Technology Master Plan 2017 to 2030 that set a goal to recycle 33% treated effluent by the year 2030. WRP initiative in this case will also contribute toward achieving Sustainable Development Goal or SDG 6, which is clean water and sanitation, and SDG 13, which is on climate action. To ensure WRP availability to address water security issues, the priority of development will be given to areas that face water stress issues, high potable consumption, located nearby to IWK's STP and new regional STPs. IWK through CASA had shared information with several state water operators on a large-scale WRP project proposal for the supply of reclaimed water to non-food industries. This sharing session has resulted in a collaboration between IWK and AIS Selangor for the development of high-scale WRP project in the Klang Valley via a formation of a JV company, namely Central Water Reclamation Sdn Bhd or CWR. This collaboration has started with the acquisition of WRP in Setia Alam as the pilot project and will be followed by the 100 MLD WRP project in the RSTP or Regional Sewerage Treatment Plant Pantai 2 and Section 23 Shah Alam. Aside from AIS Selangor, IWK has also entered into a Memorandum of Understanding with Syarikat Air Melaka Berhad or SAMB for the implementation of WRP initiative in Melaka. This collaboration will help to open up opportunities for SAMB to obtain alternative water sources for non-drinking purposes and reduce the pressure on water resources. Moving forward, IWK will continue to engage with other state water operators to expand the WRP initiative in other states. Pursuant to the latest direction given by the government as stipulated, CASA's journey to achieving sustainability by the year 2030 by having a production of 1,500 mld of reclaimed water, the management of IWK has decided to take a step further where IWK involvement in the Treated Effluent Recycle initiative will not only be limited to upstream activities but in the whole process of its value chain. With the vast experience of Air Selangor in managing potable water supply, Air Selangor will play an important role as the distribution entity entrusted to deliver the reclaimed water produced at Central Waters WRP to the off-takers. Each WRP project will be implemented as a separate project with the full cost recovery requirement. IWK and the State Water Operator will carry out the preliminary engineering design, initial cost estimates for capital works and operational expenditure. A financial model in this case will be developed, taking into consideration capex recovery, replacement and repairs of parts, consumable, labour, electricity, other utilities requirement and a full cost recovery tariff with the scheduled increase to be developed with the intention to earn a reasonable project IRR. The proposed tariff schedule will be presented to the off-takers to get assurance and commitment before a definitive agreement is entered between all parties. This collaboration will begin with the acquisition and operation of the WRP located at RSTP SEM 163 from an external company by Central Water Reclamation Sdn Bhd, Central Waters in this case, a newly incorporated SPV which is 60% owned by Air Selangor and 40% owned by IWK. The collaboration and development of WRPs within Klang Valley are expected to continue with large-scale WRP development projects with a capacity of 100 mld located at Pantai 2, in this case is KLR 399, and a capacity of 40 mld located at Section 23 Shah Alam or SEM 272. The WRM SEM 163 is located in the same compound of RSTP SEM 163 and receiving the Standard B treated effluent. RSTP SEM 163 is equipped with sequencing batch reactor or SBR system and has a design capacity of 140,000 PE, and currently it has reached 89,144 PE that enables the plant to produce an estimated amount of 20 mLds of treated effluent. In producing the reclaimed water, as shown as the application of technology used for the WRP. The first one is the pre-treatment, which is the cartridge filler. Cartridge filler in this case will be adopted for pre-treatment to the treated effluent, and it shall only allow particle less than 50 micrometer to pass through the filter. The treated effluent feed is designed to allow pressure drop across the bank or filter and has sufficient residual pressure to deliver the flow to the UF feed storage tank that is located a maximum of 5 meter height of the static head. B. Ultrafiltration system, which is designed to receive the quality and capacity of water to produce the required quality for RO feed water limiting condition. The function of the UF system is to remove particulates and micromolecules larger than a membrane pore size from water. UF will remove most of the turbidity from receiving water. This system required 5 micron pore size cartridge fillers to serve as final protection of the UF membrane, which ensures that all erection debris will be fully recovered through the cartridge filler. The system will be equipped with a backwash system and clean in place or CIP system to ensure operability and functionality of the system. C. For reverse osmosis system, which will be designed to treat the UF feed water and to produce the RO quality water that is compatible with the Ministry of Health drinking water quality. The function of reverse osmosis in this case is to remove many types of dissolved and suspended chemical species as well as biological ones, principally bacteria, from water. Thirdly, the reclaimed water produced from this WRP will then be distributed via a dedicated pipeline to the end user. The photograph below shows the schematic flow of reclaimed water from the treated sewage effluent to the end user. This is an example of the regional STP, and the water reclaim project will benefit, in this case, industry, water operators, government, and IWK as a national sewerage service provider, and through its implementation, reliable and sustainable water supply will be created by capitalizing on existing water resources in the ecosystem. Water Services Industry Act 2006 has been enforced for a period of nearly 15 years now. Despite the successful implementation of the Act in regulating the industry, CASA identified a number of improvements that could be made to make it relevant with the current and future needs of the industry. In light of providing an effective regulatory ecosystem, including ensuring water security, 70 amendments will be made to the existing Act 655 with the following objectives. Number 1, to implement new policies to improve the water services industry. Secondly, to enhance the function and powers of SPAN, including stringent law enforcement and higher penalties against water polluters. And lastly, to provide a clearer legal interpretation of Act 655. A series of consultations with the various stakeholders and states have been made since 2019 until July 2021. This engagement is an essential factor in getting buy-in to the bill proposed amendment to Act 655, which is expected to be tabled in Parliament in 2022. What is the gist of the proposed amendment to Act 655? In order to ensure water security and protection of water resource, the amendment to the Act 655 will provide stiffer penalties to those not only polluting water source used for water treatment, but also to those who pose a risk which cause or likely cause the closure of the water supply system or water supply disruption. The amendment also will enable the operator to recover the costs incurred to clean the contaminated water supply system. In addition to the amendment, also proposed an increase of amount of fines ranging between Rm 200,000 to an amount not exceeding Rm 20 million, with a maximum of 20 years in jail. The increase would serve as a deterrent against errant water polluters. Harsher penalties are also introduced for discharging any sewage, effluent, or material into any manhole. Beside the amendment of Act 655, the government also from time to time enacted subsidiary legislation to enhance law enforcement related to water security. To maintain and ensure hygienic ecosystem as well as protecting Malaysians from waterborne diseases, the Water Services Industry Desludging Services Regulation 2021 has been enacted and came into effect on 30th of March 2021. This regulation requires all owners, management corporation or occupants of any premises connected to a septic tank or having a septic tank to dislodge the septic tank on a scheduled basis. Under this regulation, septic tank located within the operating area of the local authority is subjected to scheduled dislodging once in every 2 years, while septic tank outside the boundaries of local authorities is scheduled once in every 3 years. Periodic and systematic dislodging cycle will be able to ensure septic tank is properly maintained and prevent any risk of contamination of surface and groundwater resources, which later leads to public health and pollution problem. Septic tanks, also known as septic system, are basic sewage treatment for dedicated premises. Septic tank is a form of basic treatment facilities consisting of one or more partition or structures that provide containment for sewage from the premise. In Malaysia, there exist two forms of septic tanks which have found wide usage. The first type is a cast in situ septic tank previously promoted by the Ministry of Health. The second type is the prefabricated septic tank manufactured locally using polyethylene, glass fiber reinforced plastic or reinforced precast concrete material. If the septic tank is not dislodged regularly, the sludge or sewage will exceed the storage capacity of the tank and flow directly out of the tank into a nearby drain or water body without treatment. The overflow of the storage will also cause public nuisance, in this case from the odor, thus affected the well-being of the people. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, every septic tank requires regular or scheduled maintenance. In Malaysian context, we estimated 1.3 million premises using septic tanks. Unfortunately, only 90% of septic tanks premises do not maintain or dislodge on a regular basis. Thus, the enforcement of this regulation becomes a crucial instrument not only to protect our people but also to ensure water security for the nation in the sense of health as well as implication of hygiene in this case. In terms of implementation of the rules, the owners of the premises will be given notice to schedule the rate of the dislodging services that will be conducted by RWK, and the issuance of the notice has commenced or started in June 2021 in stages. The rate charges payable for dislodging services under this regulation are specified in the Sewerage Services Charges Regulation 1994, and the rates have not been increased since 1995. The success of the enforcement relies on the understanding and cooperation from all parties. The owners of septic tanks need to be more aware and responsible on the importance of dislodging services in a scheduled or regular basis. The concern of all in complying with this regulation is very important to ensure the sustainability of the environment is preserved for future generations without compromising the health of the ecosystem. With that, I thank you.